Welcome back to the Events Diary. Today we're joined by Robin, by Cakes by Robin, who's going to talk to us about all the beautiful wedding cakes that she has the pleasure of designing and creating. Robin, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So tell our viewers, how did Cakes by Robin come about?
So Cakes by Robin came about after I got made redundant and I decided I really wanted to set up a cake company. So I started it in my one-bedroom flat in Southfields, and then after about a year it became apparent we were getting a bit squashed, too many cakes everywhere. And so I bought a shop just up the road from my house where I lived and then moved everything in there, and I've now got a team. That's where we work from.
And you make gorgeous wedding cakes.
Yeah.
What sort of cakes do you make?
We make all sorts of things. It's really kind of led by our clients. So some people will come to us and say, I'd like something very traditional. Not a problem, we'll do that. Some people will come and want more of a quirky design, so something with sort of chevrons, or perhaps from the dragonfly inspired cake would be a good example. And then other people will come and want something very novelty. So we pretty much go across the board and span all the different sort of genres of wedding cake.
And what would you say is the most popular wedding cake flavour?
Well, it used to be we did a lot of red velvet, a lot of Victoria sponge, but now we're doing a new flavour which is really popular, which is a salted caramel.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's really popular. It's a chocolate cake with a salted caramel buttercream, delicious.
And what would you say is the trend for 2015 regarding wedding cakes?
We're seeing quite a lot of pastel colours. Some of the more darker colours like purples are coming back, which I'm quite surprised about, but people seem to really kind of want to bring in some of the colours from their bridesmaids' dresses, their flower arrangements, and bring that into the cake. And we're sort of seeing not so many of the kind of white traditional cakes, more of the quirky designs, which is great for us because that's what we love doing.
And where would you say you get your inspiration from?
Really from all over. So something like this, I really wanted to do a dragonfly inspired design, so we did it on one tier. So it could be from nature, or this was from an invitation we saw with the chevron design. I really like that. We've been doing quite a lot of chevron.
How do you make this?
Oh, it's quite time consuming. You literally cut each strip out individually and then line it up on the cake.
How
so
beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of and I really like the sort of Neapolitan colours in it as well. It's just really pretty. So yeah, we kind of get inspiration from all over, but it's mainly directed from the brides because they'll come with an idea and then we'll kind of run with it.
What would you say is the best way for a bride to prepare for a cake consultation?
The best thing for us is probably to come with an idea of what you like and also what you don't like. So you can say to us, this is the kind of thing that, I'm interested in. It's really difficult when people have absolutely no idea, because obviously then we don't really know what they like and what's kind of personal to them. So to come with some images and to just have a little bit of an idea of what you want is perfect for us.
And what would you say is your favourite wedding cake to date that you've made?
I think this year, this is my favourite one. I absolutely love the kind of colours and the chevron designs. Each year is something different that kind of really takes my fancy, but I think this year that one, I'm really looking forward to making it for some of our brides.
And as well as wedding cakes, what other confectionery items do you provide for a wedding?
We do things like miniature cakes, so little versions of the cakes like these.
Beautiful. We
do a lot of cookies, so people will often use them as favours for their guests or as part of a dessert table. We do lots of cake pops, so things, again, they would use them as favours or to give to the children, things like that. So we're sort of branching into macaroons as well. I gave it a go the other day.
Oh, we're so excited to see it.
Yeah, they weren't perfect looking, but they tasted really good. So we'll be perfecting it.
Robin, what is the wackiest wedding cake you've made?
We love it when people come with sort of all sorts of different ideas. Often, last year there was a lot of skiing cakes, so seemingly lots of our brides and grooms were quite interested in skiing, so we would do huge mountain cakes with sugar models of them skiing down, and then like the little bits of the village that they go to, kind of, so it made it really personalised. So things like that are really nice. And then people who have massive interest in sports, so we did one where they did a lot of canoeing and volleyball for some reason, and so we made volleyball cake pops, and then the canoe was with them on top of the wedding cake. So you can kind of do all sorts of crazy things. Yeah.
And what's the most difficult cake you've made?
Wonky cakes I'm not a massive fan of because they are quite difficult to transport. So we've done huge wonky cakes which kind of go in 3 different parts to the venue and then get set up there. Yeah. So things like that.
So how did you create that?
You literally carve the cake, so we bake the cakes in the same way. It would start off like this, and then we would carve down the sides, but they would usually start a bit bigger, so you'd then have like a massive cake growing up. So yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, it's great.
And what would you say is your lead time usually?
We ask for about 3 months notice minimum for wedding cakes. We make cakes all year round for all sorts of different events, so it doesn't have to be that people give us 3 months, but it's best to do that particularly in the busy wedding season of kind of May to September. So some people give us like a year or 2 years. I don't actually have a diary for 2 years, so I always think it's better, 3 months to 6 months is perfect for us.
And it's becoming increasingly popular for the cake to be a statement, a decorative piece for weddings. So a lot of brides and grooms will have the majority of the cake that's fake with the top that's real to cut. How do you ensure that that's what happens?
You cut the right bit. Yeah, well basically we will tend to mark on the cake in a sort of secret place at the back, which is usually where they cut it from, where is the real tier, or sometimes we'll do a wedge of cake. If the whole thing is fake, you'll do a wedge of cake, which is actually what I had on my wedding cake, and I marked it so that mainly my husband didn't go kind of hacking into it. But yeah, you mark a bit and then that's where they cut.
And does the price change when you have a dummy cake as opposed to the whole thing real?
It does change a little bit. It's a little bit cheaper to have a dummy cake, but if it's a cake like this, where there's loads and loads of detail, to be honest, it doesn't really matter whether it's real cake or fake cake. So I would usually advise brides to, if you want something like that, to actually have it as real cake, because then you get the cake. You know, if there's a kind of £50 to £100 difference, you may as well have it as real cake.
And I can see you've done sugar flowers on this cake. Do you do real flowers? Do you incorporate real flowers?
Yeah, we often do. Real flowers is quite good from the point of view of keeping your budget in check, because things like this would take us a really long time to make, whereas fresh flowers can, you know, they obviously cost, but they don't cost as much in terms of the time. So yeah, we do a lot of cakes where there's like layers of real flowers in between the tiers, which is perfect for adding extra height to the cakes as well.
Today's been such a pleasure with Robin from Cakes by Robin. Do pop over to her website, which is cakesbyrobin.co.uk, and join us next week on the Events Diary.